Today I want to talk through my 6-step process for songwriting. And at the end of this video, you should be able to know the steps and create your own song. Hope you'll stay tuned because I'm going to also share a song that I just recently wrote. So let's jump right into step 1, which is create space. And when I talk about creating space, it's because you can't force a creative process necessarily, so you have to figure out ways in order to make those ideas flow and let those ideas come to you instead of making it more of a prescriptive or forced process. And some of the ideas that I use for creating space are writing in a journal on a daily basis, so setting time aside to just sit down and just write whatever comes to mind and get things on the paper. The other thing that I like to do is go for walks in nature. So being outside can help generate more ideas because you're freeing up space in your mind from all the other daily worries and chores and things that you have to do. The other third way that you can generate ideas is really just sitting down with you and your instrument in a quiet place so that you can be uninterrupted and have that space to create. And a recent example I wanted to share of how I was able to get space for creativity is that I was on a 5-hour-long cross-country flight and I didn't have anything to do, and I had a notebook and a pen, and that was a way that I was able to sit down and just focus on all the things that are creative. And so I was able to write some song lyrics, I was able to create some short ideas, and I was also able to create some scripting ideas for some videos. And that is really, just one example of getting that space. So the overall idea here is to figure out what works for you in creating space. I think I've shared in some other videos that sitting in the car or driving in the car has created a small space for me. So think what works in your daily life is a way to create space, and that is step number 1. Step number 2 is be fearless. You can't be worried about having crazy ideas. You can't be afraid of what others will think about you, and you need to let your individual personality come through. And it's kind of challenging to be vulnerable, but those vulnerabilities are the things that will create the good songs. And if I think of examples like Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, he was sharing a breakup and it was very personal to him, and therefore the song came out and you heard that vulnerability. Another song where there's a vulnerability is Louis Capaldi's song Someone You Loved, and he explores his feelings of loss and grief. And so you start to see the pattern that when people connect with their emotions and their individual vulnerabilities into the song, you can really have an exciting and unique outcome. Step number 3 is that you need to generate a lot of ideas. So writing down whatever comes to mind, generating a lot of individual ideas, and really think of it as brainstorming. So think of the notion that there are no bad ideas, so you just need to create, and worry about the editing and organization later. You need to just get these things out of your mind and onto the paper or into the computer so that you have stored these ideas. And if you don't have a lot of ideas to start with, it's going to be hard as you move into the other steps of the process. So step number 4 is experimentation. And the first question you might have is, well, why do I need to experiment? I'm writing a song. Well, what happens is no one really writes a song and it's perfect the first time that you sing it. You're going to have to do some bit of experimenting of different verses going between choruses. You may decide to use a high note versus a low note on a specific word. And so this type of experimentation is what I'm talking about. So being able to take all those ideas that you have, lyrics, melody, all these content, the stuff, then you need to play around with those pieces and really put them together almost like you would a puzzle. And while it may not flow right off the bat, you're going to have to smooth out the overall song with all these components that you're putting together. And just to share a recent activity where I've been writing a song, I recorded the song 6 times in a row, and I listened back and I started to hear certain, I guess, the way I sang certain words, or I decided should I go high on this note or low, and sort of playing it, singing it many times, and then adding words or deleting words to get it to flow a little bit more smoothly, and then changing the order, like which thing of this ideas that I have for the song, what's going to be the real chorus for this, because I had just written a straight song without really thinking about chorus or verse. And so starting to figuring out what will the end result really start to look like. So testing your ideas and experimenting is really so important to then move on to what we call the final step, is the refine and edit. And the refine and edit can go on for quite some time depending on your own personal desire and taste. Not every song idea is going to make it to a finished song, and that's okay. You might get partway through the experimentation and think this is not a song I want to sing, or you just decide it's not exciting you, or you're not passionate about it anymore, and that's okay. You can always drop that and move on to the next idea, because hopefully by this point you've generated plenty of ideas and there's no shortage. The other thing that in the refine and edit, I noticed that I was playing around a bit with when to play certain chords, and then maybe singing one part of the song, like having saying one word long and or maybe short, and sort of going back and forth between those ideas. So this is why, to get to the refine and edit, you need to experiment, refine and edit, and it sort of ends up in this number step 4 and step 5 work together in a loop. And the writer, as the writer, you're really responsible for deciding what you want to edit or what you want to add and what you want to change. That brings me to step 6, which you're going to have to reach a point in this process when you decide what is done and what is finished. And each artist will have their own criteria for how to do that, and whether you're creating just a song by yourself, or if you have to include other people, that will also decide what you think is done. I will share, for me, my personal style is I like to create a song, I like to work through the refine and edit process, and then I like to finish it. And I don't like to spend too much time going back and forth and making a lot of changes, because I feel like a lot of times that initial emotion and passion of the song will get lost if I drag that process out too long. And there are other artists like Bob Dylan who do something similar. So they like to get through the process, finish it, and then they want to write another song. And this will generate a lot of content for you to sing and have a lot of different songs. But it is just one way. But you can choose to do it a different way. Maybe you don't have that much time to put into a song all at once, and so you want to drag that out over a longer time. And that's totally up to you. It's nice to be the songwriter. You're the decision maker in what needs to get done. So you get to decide, which is really kind of cool, that in the end you own that end result. So to close, the takeaway here is that you really need to have a lot of ideas. You're going to have to make a lot of decisions about what to include, what to not include, and that you really make the song. You are what makes the song. And I would like it if you could please check out my video on the 90 song in 30-day song challenge, and make sure to stay onto this video so you can hear my latest song that actually inspired me creating this video. Best of luck in writing your next song, and I'll see you next time.
My head on my pillow, thinking of you. I can't stop thinking this love is true. I remember moments, I remember times. A $200 bottle of wine. You have aged, your hair is gray. How many years can love stay? and down and all around. We weather storms or run aground. All we have in this life is each other. We have lost more than we have won, but we keep going and we keep growing. Each day is a new one, time for some real fun. So many moments, so many